Attention, the following broadcast has been approved by Outcasted OC. Viewer discretion is advised. Incoming transmission in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Outcasted OC. Today, I am back with NXT Gold Rush Night 1, of course. Next week is NXT Gold Rush Night 2. I will probably be here for that as well. And we've got a really interesting card. I say interesting because there's a lot of ups and downs in tonight's NXT Gold Rush. Before I get into it, guys, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit that like button. Hit the bell so you get all the notifications when we upload a new video. We've got a podcast coming up on Thursday, so don't miss that. It is a tier list episode. I can't wait for it. Let's get straight into it, guys. This is a big night because obviously we've got the World Heavyweight Championship on the line. Seth Rollins versus Bron Breaker. I know a lot of people have been excited for that match ever since it got announced. The wrestling community broke the internet. But we start off with them seeing them earlier today entering the building. Both Seth Rollins and Bron Breaker entering from different parts of the arena. So the hype has already started at the start of the night, guys. We start off on a bit of a low note, unfortunately for me. This is the North American Championship match. It is Wesley versus Tyler Bate with Mustafa Ali as a special guest referee. This is a downside for multiple different reasons for you. I won't lie to you. You've got a situation here where you've got Wesley, who is an amazing champion. You've got Tyler Bate, who is an amazing wrestler. And you've got Mustafa Ali, who really shouldn't be there. And to be honest, spoils the match for me. Mainly just because for half of the match, you've got the situation here where he doesn't know how to count properly. He counts too slow or he counts too fast, or they're outside of the ring and he doesn't count the 10 count, and it's just it's just getting in the way of a really good match. And that happens all the way until the end, where he gets out of the ring after there's a top rope move here where both of them go crashing. Tyler Bate goes crashing into the ring. Wesley goes crashing outside of the ring. Wesley is on the outside. Mustafa Ali goes and tells him to get up and fight. This is your moment. He gets back in the ring and says the exact same thing to Tyler Bate. Unfortunately, he's in the way of Tyler Bate, so we can't see Wesley coming in for the cardiac kick. Mustafa Ali gets in the way. Bang! Tyler Bate gets hit. Mustafa Ali dodges out of the way at the last minute. That made it sound like Wesley hit him. No, Mustafa Ali dodges out of the way at the last minute, but unfortunately, Tyler Bate is too late to get out of the way. Cardiac kick. 1, 2, 3. Wesley is still the North American champion. I thought this match could have been a lot better. I didn't really see the need in Mustafa Ali being the special guest referee. It ruined it for me. Didn't see any need for it. Hopefully, we can get a better match between these two in the future. Maybe we can even get a triple threat. That would be pretty dope. I'd love to see that. But Mustafa Ali does not need to be a referee. He never needs to be in the black and white stripes ever again. So let's swiftly move on to something. I say better, but yeah, I don't know. This, like I say, the start of the show is so weird. And we go back now to a segment backstage where Gigi Dolan is talking about how much he loves art, how much it inspires her, and how much it separates her from the rest of the roster. While this is going on, Kiana James is watching this on the TV, saying that that's pathetic. Kiana James is a businesswoman. She's made a lot out of herself, but if Gigi Dolan is happy, is swimming in mediocrity, then that's good enough for her, she suppose. So it looks like we're going to be getting a rivalry here between Kiana James and Gigi Dolan, which I'm down with. I'm okay with both of those getting the spotlight in the future. I just thought it was a bit of a boring segment, to be honest with you. It's weird how Gigi Dolan has been has gone from this toxic attraction glamour queen to I love art and I have a family that grew up in the desert and. Yeah. What? Okay, cool. I don't know. Moving on, we've got a pep rally now for Thea Hale a week before a match against Tiffany Stratton next week for the NXT Women's Championship. Duke Hudson is basically saying, we are here tonight to celebrate Thea Hale. She has absolutely been smashing Chase U lately. I am the MVP of Chase U. Throughout this whole segment, you get a kind of a vibe that Duke Hudson is trying to make this situation all about himself. But anyway, Thea Hale comes out. She's accompanied by Drew Gulak and Charlie Dempsey. Obviously, they've been training her to use the Kimura lock. The rest of Chase U also come out with Thea Hale. Thea Hale is absolutely gassed. She is saying this is the best night of her life. She cannot wait. Because she dragged herself up from the dirt. And most people go to college. Most people have accolades in the sports and everything. But she graduated high school last year. She's only 19 years old. There's a funny bit where Drew Gulak and Charlie Dempsey go, wait, she's only 19? What have we got ourselves into here? Like, they're like, why are we training this young ass girl? But Duke Hudson is once again trying to make it about himself. There's a moment here where Thea Hale thanks Andre Chase for seeing what nobody else saw in her. But Duke Hudson's like, yeah, okay, great, Andre Chase, woo. And you can tell that he's getting a little bit annoyed that Andre Chase keeps getting brought up, even though that he's there and Andre is not. Thea Hale goes, no, but I've got to thank, Duke Hudson as well, the MVP. And so he starts chanting his own thing. He starts going MVP, MVP. You get like he's once again making it about himself. Tiffany Stratton basically then comes out and says this is all pathetic, and no matter what, no matter how much you want to celebrate, no matter how much you want to big up yourself and chase you, it's going to end the same next week. I'm going to retain the women's championship. I do love the attitude here from Tiffany Stratton. I love like the high school kind of bitchiness that she's got going on. Apparently, she got a lot of inspiration from High School Musical for her character, which I haven't seen, so I wouldn't know. But if this is it, then it's cool. Like she is a mean girl. She's the mean girl of NXT. A lot of people call that Cora Jade, but I think it's Tiffany Stratton, to be honest. Duke Hudson then goes, that might not be fetch to you, or that might be so uncool, but like it or not, Thea Hale is walking out next week with your women's championship. Tiffany Stratton goes, don't make me laugh. Like there is no way you're going to make me tap out next week. Only to tap out 2 seconds later once Thea Hale gets her in the Kimura lock. So, I don't think Thea Hale is going to win next week, but, I do want to see it. I do want to see this match. There's something else going on as well that I also kind of want to see. I want to see the development of the Schism. Which we do get a little bit of a segment here from last week, where obviously they lost last week. So Joe Gacy is saying, is it my fault? Is it my fault the reason why we're not doing well and we keep falling? Jagger Reed turns around and goes, actually, yeah, it is your fault. You're the only one who keeps losing, and you took the pinfall last week. So yeah, it is our fault. You told us that truth will set us free. So I'm telling you the truth, that you are the weak link, basically. Ava Rain gets very mad at this and says, like, we all need to stick together and we all need to, 4 roots, 1 tree, all that kind of stuff. So I'm interested to see what's going on with the Schism. For me, and I've been saying this for the past couple of weeks, it feels like Ava Rain is trying to establish a bigger role in the Schism. Maybe she's going to be taking over from Joe Gacy in the future as a leader. You never know. You never know. What else do we have next, guys? Let's have a look. Sorry, I'm just looking at my notes, because like next we have got a load of like promo segments, which is kind of crazy. Like in the middle of the show, there's like 5 different promo segments. I'm looking to see whether we're getting here. It looks like we are getting here in a moment after the tag team match. But first we get a video from NXT Anonymous, where I believe it's Lila Valkyria confronting Kiana James saying, do you have a problem with me? And Kiana's like, no, like, so once again, it looks like we're going to be getting a feud. I don't really get the NXT Anonymous thing at the moment. Like, hopefully we get a bit more of that, and like eventually, hopefully we find out, because it's been going on for a long time now with NXT Anonymous. Next, we have a number 1 contenders triple threat tag team match. Whoever wins this will challenge Gallus next week for the NXT Tag Team Championship. In this match, we have Tank Abbott and Hank Walker. Yeah, Hank Walker. Sorry, I always forget these 2 guys' names. Yeah, Tank Abbott and Hank Walker. We got Josh Briggs and Brooks Jensen. And the final team is Idris Enofe and Malik Blade, who actually win this match. Not much goes on in this match, to be honest. It's quite chaotic. Shout out to JB and BJ. They were the best tag team in this match, in my opinion, just throwing people about. Amazing stuff. But there's a really cool moment here at the end where Idris Enofe breaks up the pin and Malik Blade jumps over the referee into the frog splash. 1, 2, 3. that's how they become number one contenders next week for the NXT Tag Team Championships. Really, really good segment. I quite like that. And this is like all the segments here in one. Gallus now backstage saying it doesn't really matter who won that match. Anyway, we know who we're facing next week. We're going to beat them. Let's go to the pub. They are then confronted by Los Lotharios, and Los Lotharios say if we were in that match, it'd be a different story. You would be facing us next week for the NXT Tag Team Championships. Gallus basically turn around and go, well, he wasn't in the match, so bye, hasta luego. I'm interested to see what Los Lotharios is going to be doing for the rest of like NXT this year. I do think they were really underutilized on the main roster, so I really want like a spotlight on them this year. And if that means giving them an NXT championship, tag team championship match, and that's amazing. And we now go to another scene here where Damon Kemp, remember last week, Eddie Thorne tells him to pick any match whatsoever to settle this ongoing rivalry where Damon Kemp thinks that the referees are against him. Well, this week we do get an answer. Damon Kemp wants a Raw Underground match. Now, do you guys remember a couple of years ago when Raw Underground was a thing? It was like no ropes, and like the only way to win was like TKO, etc. Shane McMahon was in charge of it and almost was like the bodyguard or like the doorman to let people in. Yeah, we are getting a Raw Underground match next week. I think it's like next week or the week after, one of those things. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure it's next week. So I'm interested to see it. I was never really interested in Raw Underground because I thought there was no real structure to it, and there was like a segment, like always a segment where it was like, oh, let's fight. Like 2 minutes later, it's over, and I'm like, okay, is that it? Like nothing else. Raw Underground. So hopefully we get a little bit more like. I would have chosen to put him in like the fight pit or something like Matt Riddle's match. That would have been cool. Eddie Thorpe versus Damon Kemp in the fight pit. That would have been dope. We now go to another backstage segment now where we see Roxanne Perez battering Blair Davenport. We remember last week Roxanne Perez says that she was coming for Blair Davenport, so it looks like she finally got to her. Blair's on the floor and she's sat there and she goes, "Okay, fair play, Roxanne. It's on. So it looks like we're definitely getting a rivalry here now. We now go to another backstage segment. Jesus Christ, where Seth Rollins is talking to Nathan Frazier all about the Heritage Cup, saying, "Wow, you have to carry that around with you." Seth goes, "But in all seriousness, congratulations. I knew you could do it. You've lived up to expectations." If you guys didn't know, Seth Rollins was quite pivotal in Nathan Frazier's training. So that's why he's talking to Nathan. The same segment here, we get Mello confronting Seth Rollins. He just says he wants to pay his respect to a fellow champion. He starts staring at the World Heavyweight Championship, and Seth goes, "Well, if you want to pay respect for me, stop staring at the title. I'm up here." Do you know what I mean? Seth goes, "Are you going to beat Baron Corbin next week?" Mello says, "Hell yeah, I am. Are you going to take care of Bron Breaker this week?" And Seth Rollins goes, "Seth don't miss. So in the future, please give me that. Please give me Seth Rollins versus Carmelo Hayes for any championship. Once Carmelo Hayes comes up to the main roster, I'm 100% invested in seeing that feud. That'd be great. Him versus the icon, the visionary, the revolutionary. That'd be dope." We finally get to our next match on the card. It is Cora Jade versus Dana Brooke. There is no championship on the line. There is no number one contendership on the line. And this is just a grudge match because Cora Jade says that Dana Brooke cost her a number one contender's opportunity a few weeks ago. Blah, 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 blah. Who cares? Who cares about most of this match? There's a segment in this match where Dana Brooke sustains a kayfabe injury to a knee. Cora Jade eventually ends up taking advantage of this. There's a segment here, there's a moment here where Dana Brooke is getting taken out on a stretcher, but she ends up fighting Cora Jade, slapping her and beating her down. Eventually, though, Dana Brooke goes for a second rope move, like kind of like a Vader bomb, smashes a knee onto the canvas. Cora Jade then gets her into a single leg crab. Dana Brooke does not tap out here, though. Referee stoppage ends this match because Dana Brooke would not submit. She would not quit. So the referee decided to end this match and give it to Cora Jade, which was the right decision because Dana Brooke does not need a win against Cora Jade, and Cora Jade needs all the momentum she needs. Now we get to a strange segment here, like a sad segment here, where Von Wagner is talking to Robert Stone, and basically Robert Stone is saying to you, Von, you asked me to, talk to you here. Why have you asked to talk to me here? And there was like, because this is the place where it all started, where you believed in me and no one else did. And Bron then goes on like a bit of a childhood story where when he was a baby, his skull wasn't developing as a baby's usually would. So he had to endure a harsh operation when he was just a baby, where they had to open up his head and extend his skull. He then goes on about when he was, heading into primary school or like, first school. I don't know what you Americans call it. Where all the kids would like stare at his scar on the back of his head, and there was parents that wouldn't, let the kids look at him, stuff like that, which it's a really sad story that I wasn't expecting from Von Wagner. And I'm like, I don't know where they're going with this, but apparently there's more of the story to tell. I'm invested. I would have seen it, but it was just a really sad story from Von Wagner. It made me kind of a fan of Come Tuesday. I don't even want to call him Come Tuesday anymore. What's going on in the world? God damn it, it's not fair. What do we get next, guys? Oh, yeah, we can now go backstage again to Eddie Thorpe. He's talking to a couple of people backstage, including Axiom, that he needs to train, he needs to be prepared because Damon Kemp is a Division 1 wrestler. It's not going to be easy to defeat him in Raw Underground. Gable Stevenson comes over to Eddie Thorpe and says, if you need any advice, if you need training for the Raw Underground match, if anyone knows Damon Kemp, it's me. So I'm your guy if you want some advice. Obviously, we know that Gable and Damon are brothers. So this should be interesting. I wasn't expecting to see Gable here at all. So, I'm up for him training Eddie Thorpe. That'd be dope. I'd be really interested in that. Were you guys interested in seeing Gable? Was you guys surprised to see him on NXT this week? Let me know in the comments about that. We now go to a segment in the ring now where it's like a face-to-face. Baron Corbin and Carmelo Hayes basically now go back and forth and talk about how the accomplishments and Baron Corbin says, you need to learn your place, you need to know what's going on. Just because you look good, you look great, doesn't mean it doesn't mean that translates into success. Carmelo Hayes comes back at Corbin and says, talk about success, 26 years old. I was in the breakout tournament winning the North American Championship. 26 years old, you was getting cut from the Arizona football team. And I was like, oh, damn, he going in. Melo then talks about Corbin being rich and all that stuff. It doesn't matter because you're irrelevant and you think this title is going to make you relevant again if you win it. He says, it's possible for you to win this NXT championship, Baron, but it's not probable because at the end of the day, I am him. And no matter how many times you want to talk about how rich you are, how big your house is, how relevant you were on the main roster, I am still him. And Baron Corbin says, well, do you know what? What's going to happen next week? I'm going to win that NXT championship. I'm going to go back to my house. I'm going to put it on my mantelpiece. And then my wife, my hot wife, is going to pour me a drink from a bottle that you can't afford. And I'm going to sit back and think, today was a good day. So fair enough. I'm excited to see that. I'm excited to see this match next week. This was a really good promo segment from both of these guys. I'm definitely interested in seeing it. There is now a boring segment. This is literally what I've called it in my notes. There's a boring segment now. Nathan Fraser is talking to these two people backstage who I don't really know the names of. Metaphor. I'm just going to look the names up now because they had a tag team match against Metaphor next. You've got Valentina for Royce and Leone. So Nathan Fraser is thanking them for taking care of Metaphor last week during the Heritage Cup match. He also says to Dragon Lee while he was talking to his what do you call it, his trainer Seth Rollins, that he says to take care of the people that helped you along the way. So next week I'm gonna give you a match next week for the Heritage Cup. So it looks like we're getting Nathan Fraser, and it gets confirmed later on tonight. Nathan Fraser versus Dragon Lee for the NXT Heritage Cup. I'm down to see that. That is going to be a really, really good match. Hopefully, it's a better example of a Heritage Cup match than it was last week because I didn't think they utilized the rules as good as they should have, really. But Dragon Lee, Nathan Fraser, take my money every single day. Nathan Fraser's not the greatest on the microphone. I always find it very boring when he talks, but I always think he has very, very good matches. Very good matches indeed. Right, now to the match that I was literally just talking about. We get Metaphor versus Valentina for Royce and Leon. And I don't even care. I don't want to talk about this match. It was boring. Metaphor end up winning, which is a good thing because I do think Last Legend and Jakara Jackson need the momentum because they are just in a new faction now. Aura Mensa lost last week, so you know they need a bit of momentum. They're a new faction. Hopefully they'll be taking over some other faction's place later on in the the line down the line. I don't know how else to say it. I just want Metaphor to do well, basically. We get a backstage segment now where this is great actually, to be fair. Gallus is going out of the building, on the way to the pub. Joe Coffey gets a call saying there's rats in the pub, and he's like, "What? There's rats in the pub? You guys go on without me." He gets on the phone. It's a ruse, though, because the rest of Gallus drive away, and Stacks ends up beating down Joe Coffey from behind, throwing him in the back of a car, and says, "Let's go for a ride, me and you." Obviously, he's trying to find the rat in NXT to who put Tony D away. So this is a great storyline that's carrying on. It's a good push for Stacks as well, because I really do like Stacks. I want to see what's going on next week. Are we going to be getting anything else next week, or are we going to have to wait for the week after? I cannot wait for this. Speaking of cannot waiting for something, the main event, guys, World Heavyweight Championship match, Seth freaking Rollins versus Bron Breaker. Now, for me, this was a bit of a disappointment, guys. Why am I saying this is a disappointment? Number one, I don't think it went on nearly enough as long as it should have. Number two, I also want to say that I think Seth Rollins kind of bowled over Bron Breaker here. Bron Breaker did get some moves in, but for the most part, it was Seth Rollins just beating him down. There was a really cool bit here where Seth Rollins came off the top rope through the announce table. That was really cool. Bron Breaker gets a spear in when Seth Rollins goes for the stomp, and it gets a 2 count. There's also just like I say, like Seth Rollins just gets a lot of like offense in here on Bron Breaker, even though that Seth Rollins is injured. So I don't know. I thought this made Bron Breaker look a little bit weak, which is strange because you'd think that he was coming up to the main roster soon-ish. So I don't really know why they wanted to make him look like pretty weak. But hey ho, whatever, it is what it is. It was a decent match. I just would have given Bron Breaker a little bit more offense. It was cool to see the fact that Seth Rollins decided to give Bron Breaker 2 stomps instead of 1 because he knew 1 wouldn't keep Bron down. 1, 2, 3. Obviously, Seth Rollins retains the NXT Championship. I think we all knew that. I was saying this last week. Yesterday on Raw, guys. The match is already down for Finn Balor versus Seth Rollins for the NXT Championship. For the World Heavyweight Championship at Money in the Bank. So it was very unlikely that Bron was going to beat him here. Although it would have been cool for Bron to beat Seth and then maybe make it a triple threat. That would have been interesting. I mean, it would have made Seth Seth's title run quite short, but it's always good to have a surprise or two, isn't there? After the match, Seth Rollins is celebrating. He's walking back down the ramp. He then gets attacked once again, just like last night on Monday Night Raw, by Finn Balor, who starts beating him down again. He gets him back in the ring and starts beating him down with a chair, only for Carmelo Hayes to come out and save and chase off Finn Balor. And that is how the show ends, guys. That is interesting to see that Seth Rollins was saved by Carmelo Hayes. Are we going to be getting a tag team match? I think that'd be cool. Maybe, in the future, maybe at the Great American Bash pay-per-view that NXT's got coming up. Tag team match, Bron Breaker and Finn Balor versus Seth Rollins and Carmelo Hayes. That'd be cool. I wouldn't mind seeing that. Let me know what you think of that in the comments. There's a little idea from me. Maybe even happens next week. Is there enough room on the card next week for that tag team match? You never know. But anyway, guys, that is NXT Gold Rush Night 1. Let me know what you think of it in the comments. Did you think it was the strongest show? I thought it could have been a lot better, if I'm being completely honest with you. But hey, you don't always get what you want. It looks like next week is going to be a lot stronger. You got the NXT Championship match. You have got the Tag Team Championship match. You've got the Heritage Cup match. All these matches looking insanely good. So let me know in the comments, guys. Are you excited for the next week's NXT? What did you think of this week's NXT? But if you haven't already, guys, go follow Outcasted OC on TikTok and on Instagram of the same name, Outcasted OC. I will leave in the description all of our guys' links to their channels, as in like mine, Courtney's, Ross, Cheese, and Lauren's. All of their stuff will be in the bio down below. Leave a like on this video if you liked it, guys. Share it, show some love. And stay tuned for this week, where we are going to be doing a podcast on tier lists once again, guys. That was a very, very good one that we did a couple of weeks ago, and I can't wait for this one this week. But for now, guys, I hope you have a great day, and I will speak to you in a couple of days. Peace out.